Good evening. My name is Phil. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm the lead minister here, and it's my privilege just to share a few thoughts about the story that we are entering into at Christmas. And it's quite something again, isn't it? It feels like we're back here. It's Christmas once again, and the years just kind of swing past quicker and quicker. But I wonder whether you've had similar experiences to me this year. And I wonder whether at any point in your year you have felt the desire or the need for someone to come alongside you to help you, to show you how to do something, to care for you in the midst of something. A moment where perhaps you've thought to yourself, I can't do this on my own. I've had that feeling myself a few times this year. One time that springs to mind for me is when a good friend of mine kind of drew alongside me and realized that I was struggling, and he did it really sensitively, with my weight and lack of fitness. And he very kindly drew up alongside me and kind of said, Phil, it's time we went to the gym. And I appreciated that. I appreciated his help, his effort, because he was a gym rat. He knows what he's doing. He's got muscles coming out of everywhere. And so he very kindly took me to the gym, showed me what I should be doing, and then even decided to pay for my membership for the year. He drew alongside me and helped me in my moment of need. Now, I know I can see a lot of you looking at me going, it's not really worked, Phil. But all I have to say to you is just imagine if I hadn't been going to the gym for 6 months, this would look different. Anyway, he drew alongside me and he helped me. Maybe you've had one of those experiences this year. Maybe it's been about fitness, whether it's been about finance, maybe it's been about relationship, maybe it's just been about work and study and the stuff that we have to do. And you thought, I just need someone to show me or to help me or to guide me in this moment. In my job as a vicar, I have the real privilege of people coming and asking me for help. But the movement is from them to me. They come and ask what they think they should do, and we think theologically, and we care, and we pray for people. But the movement is always from them towards me. And it made me wonder about, are there professions, are there jobs in which there are people who go to others to help care for them? And the obvious one that sprang to my mind are paramedics. If you are a paramedic, we salute you. That kind of vision of people going to help other people who can't help themselves in those moments, to draw alongside them, to care for them in their moment of need. Because there is a move from them to us. I want to tell you a story that I heard recently of someone who did exactly that. He moved from himself and he went to those who are in need. The story is of a guy called Joseph de Vestur. I think that's how we pronounce his name. It may not be correct. But he was born in 1840 in Belgium. And at the age of 24, 1864, Joseph de Ventura he got ordained into the Catholic Church and became a Catholic priest. And from that point onwards, he was known as Father Damien. Now, Father Damien, having been born in Belgium, then received the call to go to Hawaii. That's some calling. When I got ordained into the church, I got called to Derby. Anyway, but he went to Hawaii in 1864, and he spent 8 years traveling around vast geographical areas, serving people, serving the poor, caring for them, looking after their spiritual and their physical needs on the island of Hawaii. And in that time, he heard about the island of Molokai. That's how I'm pronouncing it, because that's how I see it written down. And on the island of Molokai, the Hawaiian government sent anybody who has what we now know as Hansen's disease, what was then known as leprosy. They sent them to this island to effectively die, to live there, to be quarantined, to be set apart from the rest of society. And we've experienced some of that, haven't we, having lived through COVID? That idea of what it means to be isolated. Well, these people, this disease, they were like, no, off you go. Go live over there. Go wait your time until you die. Father Damien heard of this story, and he decided that he wanted to go towards them. He volunteered to go and serve the 700 people on this island who all had Hansen's disease. So he chose to draw alongside them in their hour of need. And so he spent the next 12 years doing exactly that, caring for people, looking after people. And what he did is he changed the island of Molokai from a place that you were sent just to go and die into a place to live. He drew alongside those who were ill, but he injected them with hope. He gave them hope. He did things like building schools, planted trees, created water systems. He got people into bands and into choirs. People who were just sent to die were now being given hope of something else, something to live for. He injected them with hope. The next thing he did is he showed them love. He drew alongside those people who other people would not get close to. He assisted those who were ill. He cared for those who were dying, and he buried the dead. But not only would he have helped in those physical ways, he would have been there, he would have heard their cries, he would have prayed for them, he would have read scripture with them. He showed them love. And then, in doing those things, he found purpose and he gave purpose. He got people together and they wrote to the authorities, the Hawaiian government and the Catholic Church, and he campaigned on their behalf, and he wanted to raise funds and resources for the work that they were doing, and he wanted to make sure that people were aware of the plight of people with this illness. And so he raised worldwide awareness of that. He injected them with hope, he showed them love, and he came with a purpose. In 1889, Father Damien sadly died of Hansen's disease. Just before he died, he wrote to his brother. And in the letter that he wrote to his brother back in Belgium, he said, "I am quietly going to my grave. It is God's will for me. I thank him for giving me the same disease so that I may die in the same way as those who I've served." He sounds like just the most amazing man. We're moved. I was moved when I first heard the story of Father Damien. I'm like, this is incredible story. He's an incredible man. And he moved towards those who were in need, and it cost him everything. But it is a snapshot of the Christmas story. That God moves towards us. He takes the initiative and steps into our world. The Word became flesh. The Word that was God, the Word became flesh and blood and moved into the neighborhood. God stepped into our world. Not the island of Molokai, but the whole world. This story of Mary being told that she was to have a child, and Joseph being pledged to Mary in marriage, uncertain about what to do, and yet meets the Lord in a dream who says, no, marry her and take her home as your child and give him the name Emmanuel, God with us. Because that is the story of Christmas. That God decides to draw near to us, to come into our world, to meet us where we are. With whatever we are facing, he makes the move towards us. And in doing so, I think he gives us those three things. He gives us hope. When Father Damien stepped onto the island of Molokai, he injected the people there with hope. He gave them something to live for, not just to die, but to live for. He drew alongside them. He set stuff up for them. He encouraged them. When God steps towards us, he gives us hope. Hope to live for. Hope not that we're just here to die and that's it, but there's something more that he wants to encourage us in. We are not alone. those moments that you may have had this year when you think, I just need someone to draw alongside and help me. God says, I am that person. I'm going to step into your world. I'm going to meet you where you are. I'm going to help you with whatever you face, whether that's financial, relational, illness, whatever it is. I can step towards you. And it gives us hope. The second thing the Christmas story gives us is that it shows us love. The Colossians passage we've just heard read. Jesus is the image of the invisible God. He's literally showing us who God is and what he is like. Father Damien, when he went to serve the people on the island of Molokai, he showed them love by sacrificing, giving for them, caring for them, loving them, touching the untouchable. And it's exactly the same with Jesus. When we see Jesus caring for people, loving the unlovable, stepping into the mess of our world, he's showing us love. He's showing us God. Because God is love. The Christmas story injects us with hope, shows us love, and in it we find purpose. Father Damien had a very clear purpose. He was there to serve the people on the island and to care for them in those moments. And as he did that, he also gave the people living there purpose to live for. When Jesus steps into our world, full of grace and truth, he came with a purpose that wasn't just to stay as a little baby in a manger, but was to grow into an adult, to live for us, and then to die for us. Father Damien died with the disease of the people of the island. Jesus didn't die with our disease, but he did die for our disease. Because the disease of the human heart is that we are internally selfish. That is the problem with the world, and the world is in a mess. And we see that mess borne out across governments and geographical issues and politics. We see it relationally amongst our people, our friends, our family. It's because we are selfish. And Jesus said, I will die to reconcile you back to God, to heal you of the disease that is killing you, so that you may know peace. This is the purpose that Jesus has. And in his purpose, we find purpose. We are given a purpose to live for him and a purpose to serve others. So this Christmas time, may you know that God steps towards you, that he wants to step into whatever mess you find yourselves in. And as he steps towards you, may you know that hope steps towards you, that love steps towards you, and that purpose steps towards you. That is the Christmas story that we are celebrating here this evening.